So it's like maybe in those ages they didn't have the gifts, or maybe we have more of it that we get to practice certain things like practice feminine energy more so. Like I mean, definitely I don't have to go and hunt a lion to protect my tribe that I'm a part of and things like that. And so it's almost like, in a way, we have a gift from that point of view, and yet it could it's like convoluted because we still have these biological things within us that operate to some level as if we're still in the past.
Right. Yeah, we no longer have the real lion, but we have a metaphorical lion.
Yeah.
And we, I'd say in some degree, we really struggle with that.
Yes.
Because we don't necessarily know what the metaphorical lion we're supposed to be chasing.
Yeah, because sometimes a non-real one will feel real. A real one will, I don't even know how that would feel. I mean, I think largely most people actually probably haven't never faced lion like that.
Right. I love the concept of the hero's journey. I think that it resonates strongly with me. I think and I don't think that's we can attribute the hero's journey towards the masculine. I think it largely is a masculine embodiment.
Right.
But I think it's an important story for men and women. Right. So when hero's journey, I think it appeals a lot more to boys and men. I think it's also important for girls and women. And the thing about the hero's journey is it's kind of a concept of a rite of passage. Most tribes, especially when there were small tribes, there were natural rites of passage of going from being a boy to a man, going from being a girl to a woman. And then generally they were largely different, based on the roles of those again, hunter-gatherer communities.
Mm-hmm.
I think those things still exist, except we don't have the cultures and the traditions in the same way. So a lot of boys don't get rites of passages that lead them to manhood. And so we have a lot of men who are not fully embodied as men. And then the same thing is for girls and women.
So sounds like societal as well as just the idea of raising young humans, right? Yeah, it's both. I mean, you could be raising them a certain way, and then they go out and face the world, and the society is like has completely different expectations, or even maybe assertions on how to be, and they'll just be in battle of that.
Well, I mean, what is rite of passage? If a rite of passage is enduring hardship, it's overcoming adversity, it's learning to be mentally and physically resilient, tough, strong, capable. And if you don't receive that in your childhood, especially through those periods leading into an adolescence into your adulthood, then when you go out and face the world, modern childhood is crazy compared to, it's crazy in the sense of how much, just the abundance that we have. I got a deep freezer in my house and a fridge. I go to Costco. I fill those things up. My kid has a huge choice of food.
Yeah.
Did not exist when I was a child. unless you were incredibly rich. I'm not incredibly rich, but yet he's being raised in an affluence, level of affluence that 100 years ago, rich people didn't experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we have so much, and we don't have any real lions, and we don't bring in metaphorical lions, but the world is still untamed. So we have this childhood that we're able to provide so much, and there's very little hardship.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little work and effort. And we keep these kids protected. They don't go out that much. When I was a kid, I was riding my bicycle all over the city when I was 8 years old. Nowadays, parents get thrown in jail for letting their kids ride their bicycle out in public. So children don't endure hardships. Everything's easy for them. When they hit adulthood and they're out on their own, the world's going to be very hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to do things the way that it's not going to pamper them the way they've been pampered, and they're going to be ill prepared. And so it's going to be a big slap in the face. And not every kid going into that adulthood, especially if they don't have good enough rites of passage to challenge them, are going to be very ill equipped to meet the challenges of the real world.
That's like making me think that even though maybe on an individual level we don't have as much hardship, or we're not actually facing real lions, yet the world exists as, like, that hasn't changed in terms of how harsh the world is.
Right.
So it's like we could be sheltered and all that, but but I guess that just comes down to nature. Like, nature is just,
Nature's harsh.
yeah.
It's the one thing that blows me away about modern life is how disconnected we are from the fact that survival is not guaranteed on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Right.
Like, the number of people who die every year, because they walk into an enclosure that is unsafe to get closer to the animals that then kill them, or walk up to the edge of the Grand Canyon and then fall in. Like, the lack of, it's a self-awareness and an understanding of safety, and the fact that we are, like, survival is not guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
That we just go through. I mean, I was driving my car yesterday. I saw these two people walking, and they came up to, they're walking, having a conversation, and they come up to an intersection without stopping to turn and look to see if cars were, like, and it was a busy intersection. Thankfully, the gentleman, like, noticed car was ready to turn and put his hand out to stop his friend from walking right into a car. Like, we're just in our tunnel vision, ill-equipped and like, just not paying attention to the fact that, like, there are things that are constantly around us that are trying to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
Life is, it's, bark will take your skin off. Life is filled with things that will make you bleed.
Yeah.
And that is always a reality.
I just find that, like, just so abstractly, antithesis, almost like contrasting. The duality of it is that we face no struggle because of the modernity, yet largely, if you look at the whole planet, that's like, it hasn't changed that much from that point. And I mean, that's just wild to me. So do you think we just kind of, like, this is all just like a facade, or this, like, perception of, comfort that we've created for ourselves?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could talk about insurances and all these things, like, just creating this facade, to make you feel protected. Yeah, we could just not wake up tomorrow.
Your next breath isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
You said it. You said something I wanted to jump on, and I lost it there. The idea that we're safe. It's not exactly what you said, but it was something to that effect. It was
Protected?
we walk around as if the world is no longer dangerous. Well, let's come back. I'll just bring it. I'll use the lions again. So, we live as if, there are no more lions, right? There's no lions in our day to day, but the metaphorical lion is still very, very real.
Like what?
Well, that's the trick. We kind of like,
because some of them are just perceived though.
But they're still very real. Right?
Because you were saying like, even from the perception, like what it could lead us down the path of, like there is real consequences to that.
There's real consequences to not
right.
facing the metaphorical lion.
Right.
Just because you don't have a lion that you have to deal with and contend with every day, that if you are not prepared to meet the lion, then you are not prepared.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Even if you never see the lion, it's a metaphor.
Yeah. Hey, if you enjoyed the clips, consider checking out the entire episode. This is season 1, episode 4. If you also enjoy our shows here, then consider supporting us by subscribing and sharing with your friends. See you in the next one.